Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Gamers Rest. My name's Tal, and thank you so much for joining us for what is going to be the first episode in our stream of The Quiet Year. So it's a brand new venture for ourselves, and what we're going to do, we're just going to do some very quick introductions, and then I'm going to talk to you a bit about what the game is and how it's all going to work. So, if you don't know me, my name's Tal. You can find me across the social media under the Gamers Rest. Jack, do you want to take us off next?
Yeah, where would you like me to take us off to?
Well, just who you are and where people can find you.
All right. Excellent. Hello, folks. If you are watching on my channel, hello and welcome to RPGs Uncovered. But we are doing a special, multi-streamer event here because this is Tal's project. So, hello, Gamers Rest crew. I am looking forward to this. This is a special joint project between Tal here and myself with a crossover into my Starcrier Conflict universe. And we'll talk more about that as we get into this. But for now, I'm Jack. They looking forward to being a player and developing this world that my Lancers are already on.
Zach, do you want to go next?
Hey everybody, my name is Zach. I was a player for Behind These Eyes, just like everybody else in this group, and I ran a podcast called Schedule for Launch that's currently on hiatus. But I'm getting out. I'm doing some other TTRPG stuff, and I look forward to what's here to come. But you can find me on my socials at Scheduled for Launch and on Twitch at Astraceratops. Who knows, maybe one of those will change.
And of course, last but by no means least, the Eye.
I am the Eye, summoned here every time they need me to do things to make people have fun. That's what my Eldritch powers are used for these days. So we'll have fun with that.
Required entertainment.
Absolutely. That goes without saying, doesn't it? Right.
The what is the term you humans use? The existential crisis will continue until morale improves. Something like that.
That sounds about right. Okay, so for those of you that have not come across The Quiet Year before, The Quiet Year is a bit of a different TTRPG than you might be used to. It's essentially a world building / poetry / exploration kind of deal, where the team will be building the map as we go, and off the back of that they will then be encountering many different issues and concerns that come up during the Quiet Year, and how they deal with it and what happens at the end will be entirely down to all of them. I will be the facilitator, for want of a better word, if you like, and essentially what you're gonna see is us creating something new and as Jack said earlier on, giving a bit of a crossover into another project. Jack, do you want to just fill us in on what people can expect?
Yes, I can do so. So I am now introducing Lancer in the setting of Starcrier as a whole here. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So for today's special crossover event with the Starcrier conflict. Well, the Starcrier conflict takes place mostly in the Lancer RPG universe. Fortunately, Lancer has built in that there are reasons for things to be a little shifted one way or another compared to what is in the book, though the reason for that is obscure, which I like, both in and out of character. Anyway, following the events of the Starcrier conflict, we are far towards the rim of Union space. And Union is this sort of idealistic future government, or at least Third Com is. They had a short fascist period with SecCom, but we had a civil war and solved all of that. But in the briefest of sense, think your typical Star Trek utopian space government that mostly lets people, live their lives, do what they enjoy, live in a mostly post-scarcity environment, at least for the core worlds. But that is not where we are. We are out on the rim. We are far, far away from Cradle, or Earth. Cradle as it is called in the Lancer setting. We are on Iniko IV, or in general, the entire Iniko system. The fourth planet, Iniko IV, is where our Lancers have recently touched down, and where we are going to be building up the world, and its people, and its troubles. Iniko IV is a jungle world, mostly known for its export of food materials and biofuel. Now, in the Lancer setting, pretty much everything is 3D printed, including food. So Iniko IV is known for exporting its, well, pretty much biomatter sludge, which can be parsed down and filtered out and printed into anything you want, from a potato wearing sunglasses to a delicious German chocolate cake. And it's all made out of these green sort of algae-like sheets that hang from the trees. So just don't ask too many questions about where your food comes from. Just enjoy it. Anyway, it's been about 7 years now since events in the Starcrier conflict have shown, well, that Union seems to have a problem out in the diaspora, the space outside of Union governance, where there are still many, many human colonies that exist outside of the Union administration. Out there, out in the black, beyond the rim, far away from these utopian resources and administrations, there have been these colonies, these populations that have been, well, seemingly attacked. By what, they're not sure. Whole planets have been, well, whole stations have been depopulated. Whole transport fleets, battle fleets have been destroyed, with few, if no, survivors, and very little information gathered as to what may have occurred. Entire chunks of planets have been removed, and nobody's exactly certain what is causing this, except that it is terrifying, widespread, and seemingly unstoppable. And it is traveling inward, towards Union, perhaps, towards Cradle. And Union, our Lancers in the Starcrier conflict specifically, have encountered what exactly is causing all this. But the general population doesn't have any idea. So I'm not going to tell you. You're going to have to tune in on Sundays for the Starcrier conflict. But there is a widespread, very dangerous, very unknown threat out there that is creeping ever forward towards these rim worlds, these border colonies that, well, in a way, protect, or at least act as some kind of barrier to the central core worlds. And it's been 7 years since rumors have started flowing, since Union has sent what capabilities it has to protect these rim worlds. It's drastically reduced its military, after that whole Civil War fascist thing. Drastically reduced its military, drastically reduced the amount of hands-on administration and whatnot, and left these rim worlds to mostly govern themselves as long as they remain within the pillars of Union. But it's been 7 years, and a lot can happen in 7 years when there are rumors of planets being eaten and populations being lost to the void. And the most recent development, then, is that the Hawkwood Company, a diasporan sort of privateer micro corporation, for lack of a better term, has been dispatched to this planet, this system, the Iniko system, to act as a sort of hired mercenary defense fleet. Very unusual for Union, but they need the help that they can get, because they can't cover their entire space. And so, Iniko IV has fractured. We will be seeing a number of different polities that have popped up. We will be defining more about what those polities are and what they stand for, as well as just looking into the planet in general, because right now all we know is that it's a jungle planet, it's really humid, and it grows food. It's pretty much what we got.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's with this unknown conflict in mind that we start our world building. All that the people know on Iniko IV is that something is out there. But that's it. That's all they've got. As to what happens and whether or not they can do anything about it, that's what we're going to find out. So the first thing that we're going to do is you will see on the screens there, we've got this lovely map which indicates the main city on Iniko IV, where people are coming together to explore ideas and try to come up with solutions about what potentially might be going on and what they can do about it. But the first thing we need to decide on is we need to talk about resources. So I'm going to ask you each in turn to give me a resource. Now, this resource is either going to be something that there will be abundance of, or something which would be quite rare, and there would be some scarcity of. So all I'm going to ask you all for the moment is just to tell me what that resource is. And then as a group, you're going to decide, one, that you have an abundance, and two, that will be scarce. So, Jack, let's start with you. What is our first resource?
Can I hop in for a second? We
Of
should
course you
avoid
can.
those. We should avoid those hard limit ones like the food and biomass stuff.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this should
Because
be
this
stuff
is
for the city, I think. Yeah.
This is a populated planet that, whilst prosperous might not be this, the strongest word, it's certainly self-sufficient. So, do think about that when you're considering which resources are going to add.
All right. So, and resources can be more than just your standard, RTS. You got logs, you got stone, you got.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, so a great example, it could be information. So it really is down to you to decide what we're talking about when it comes to resources.
All right. All right. So, I think this will be an interesting one. There is. Do we choose whether it's abundance or scarce, or am I just providing the resource
So
and then we will
just
decide?
just the resource, and then
Okay.
as a group you'll decide. Yeah, absolutely.
So, Iniko IV is populated by a wide array of flora and fauna, and notably of them, another one of their potential exports out into the greater Union space and beyond, and perhaps, almost certainly heavily used here in the planet, probably in a number of different ways, is, animal materials, exotic animal materials, things like exotic furs and, insulating leathers and furs and whatnot, perhaps bones and other spines of creatures that can be used in various tools or for various decorations or adornments. And so I'm gonna say interesting, unusual, exotic animal goods.
Okay, excellent. Zach, what did you want to put down?
So this one strictly comes into the fact that with the background knowledge that we have on Prospera Bay and the different people who are, I was going to say colluding here, collaborating to work, but I think amongst the general population, a sense of unity.
Okay.
So
that
divides amongst the people, or if it's abundant, they feel like they're working towards the same goal.
Really like that. Okay, so unity. And the eye, what would you like to add to the list?
Let us see here.
Thought you were
Well,
going to say lettuce.
lettuce. I have no lettuce.
You know, it's a very sensitive subject here in the UK at the moment.
Yeah, same here.
I'm gonna actually put in a bit of a twister here. Weapons.
Okay. So, when you say weapons, what kind of level of weapons do you mean?
I'm going to say that this would be not hunting weaponry, but weaponry that one might include in an uprising, perhaps of some sort,
Okay.
or how easily it is for the common man to get a hold of a weapon.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, because it's like the people who have weapons, they're probably really good weapons.
Yeah, but what are the weapons that the common laborer can get?
Yes. Okay. Excellent.
Oh.
3 great choices there.
And that works so well with the animals too. Like those two
It
play
does.
off each other. If one's abundant and the other one's scarce, that tells a very interesting story.
It also works well with the Unity one, because if the Unity is very low and the weapons are very high.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what are we thinking then? Which one out of those 3 do we think we have an abundance of?
Which one would be the most? My question isn't which one's the most interesting that's abundant. It's which ones are the most interesting to be scarce.
So I think Unity is definitely scarce.
Yes.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, Unity is.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Lancer.
yeah.
Like,
I mean, that's kind of tied to the planet. Really.
exactly.
I think the question really does come down to are the weapons, and I think we're leaning more towards like black market weapons, really, not known military assets. If I'm understanding you correctly,
Yes, I would.
well-
I would say that we would have to decide if there's a lot of fauna around here. That if this is something that's a problem, pretty much everybody might have, the common equivalent of a bolt action rifle in this universe, right? So, but how many
Well-
Iniko 4 rednecks are out there with the equivalent of an
A
AK-47?
stockpile of,
yeah.
Or a whole ass mech suit.
Well, Prospero
Yeah.
Bay is fairly isolated by this chain of mountains that surrounds the bay, and they have their defense grid and defense perimeter patrol officers and whatnot.
That's one of the factions, right?
I don't think specifically, but I think they were mentioned.
Mhm.
So I don't think the average citizen of Prospero Bay or any of the other main colonies would really feel the need to have hunting equipment. But with rumors out there and the buildup that Union is sending out more and more military assets and more military contracted workers, and seeing as everything is 3D printed anyway, it could make sense that people are, just doom printing weaponry.
Yeah,
Okay, I was going to ask if that's a
yeah,
possibility.
so was I.
Are
Yeah.
people allowed to print weapons?
I mean, they'd pretty much they'd have to jailbreak their printers, but it can be done.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
allowed is the key word there. Whether or not it's allowed may not even matter.
And I don't think it's, like everybody is
Well,
just
if it's
3D
abundant, I
printing
mean.
rifles and whatnot. There's like a crime syndicate or something that is taking over the weaponry black market now. So I think weapons being abundant would
I
be
like that.
would be interesting and fit.
Low morale, low exotic exports.
Oof.
Low morale, high
High
weaponry.
weaponry.
That's not a great.
It's not the best combination, is it? Right. Okay. So, just to confirm, abundance-wise, it's weapons. possible for the uprising of the common person on the planet. Scarcity is unity, and animals that might make kind of exotic material or other kinds of things which might be used for trade or anything along those lines. Excellent. Okay. What I'd like each of you to do then is, could you each make a little note on the map as to where those resources can be found? So it doesn't have to be your best drawing. So whichever one you would put forward, can you just mark that on the map so that we can keep a track of it, please?
It's a good color for weapons. I'm
I
gonna
always
go,
imagine. Yeah, I was gonna say I always imagine guns as gray
little
or
ammo
brown.
boxes, yeah.
Okay. Ooh, let's see here. Morality. How do I display morality? Scarce, right?
Yeah.
So, can I zoom in?
Mine may
Oh,
be
that's
too
great.
light.
That's it. I love that.
There we go.
Just
It's a general feeling, but it's there.
Yeah.
This is downtown. Everybody gets pissed off. You see each other, shake their fists.
Is this the bar where you walk into the wrong bar in the wrong area and you're in all sorts of trouble?
I would draw a gun, but I think it would just look like something else. So.
That's fair.
Draw little ammo boxes.
I'll just put circles. You guys can...
Yeah.
Pretty sure if you go into the freehand thing, there's a rectangle option.
Yeah.
Oh. There's even an ellipse option.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Damn.
How many more should I put here?
Oh, I was not zoomed out enough to see you. There you go.
Can you have these filled? You can. Okay. So if I do this, that.
Don't.
yeah.
There you. Okay.
Excellent.
Okay, I'm gonna put two more.
Jack, this is going to be hilarious when you show it to your Lancer players. Be like, this is the map. Why is there a frowny face?
This is where you'll be exploring.
Yeah. That's fine. Mine's supposed to be like a predatory cat mole. I'm not exactly sure if it turned out that way.
I see it. I see
I
it.
know. I get that. Yeah, that's perfect.
The whiskers are coming out of the ears.
It's just the jaw. Whatever.
Yeah, it's just the mouth. I see it.
Yeah.
It's a Iniko cat.
Right. Okay. So let's move into the main portion of the actual game then. So the Quiet Year is broken down into weeks. Each week's a turn taken by one player, and essentially there are several things that will happen during this week. In the first instance, the player will draw a card. Now, the cards are broken down into 4 seasons, and once we get to the very end, that's when things start to become challenging, and we'll kind of play that out as we progress. But essentially, each player will draw a card on their week, and it'll give them some options, and it'll be down to them to decide how that plays out. What we then do is, if there are any projects, we move those along, and we'll talk about projects in a little bit more in a minute. And then lastly, the active player can choose one of 4 options. So they can either discover something new, or 3 options, just say, which would be something new for the map. They can hold a discussion, which would be where everybody joins in and they have a point they wish to raise and discuss, or they can start a new project. And projects are generally designed to be there to help the settlement deal with this incoming issue. So with that in mind, Jack, we're going to start with you, and you are going to be our first player to draw a card.
Okay.
So we start off in spring, is that correct, Zach?
Yep.
Yes.
Deck 3, you're going to click, and then you can drag it onto the map, and it'll blow up big so all of us can see.
Okay.
Ooh, this is a good one.
Spring. Can I zoom in on this? There we go.
You got to zoom in on the map.
All right. So that's the Seven of Hearts, Spring. And so we have two options here. Where does everyone sleep? Who is unhappy with this arrangement and why? Or what natural predators roam this area and are you safe? Well, I actually have something for the latter one there, so I think I'm just going to introduce that here. Yes, natural predators that roam this area. Iniko IV, one of the more dangerous creatures on Iniko IV. They're apex predators, so there are not a lot of them, and they keep to their own territory, though that territory may grow and shrink and shift as food moves and other predators come in. But Iniko IV is known for its razor hides. And these are sort of six-legged serpentine dinosaur-esque creatures that have these bone plates that have rows of sort of serrated spines sticking out of them. They like to hide in trees or down in the underbrush, and their natural camouflage, their green, scaly skin, and this sort of bark-looking razor, bony protrusions can make them look like just debris or parts of a tree or underbrush and whatnot. The razor hides are dangerous creatures, and probably the biggest threat to civilization, native threat to civilization on Iniko IV, and the main reason why the perimeter defense forces actually require mechanized chassis, because they are big, they are ferocious, and they are dangerous. Razor hides.
Awesome.
Okay.
Now,
So
I believe
they-
you draw it on the map, right?
Yes. So we do indeed. We add that as a potential threat, something that our citizens should hopefully be aware of anyway, but may cause some issues as we progress.
Here, Jack, you can hit recall and it'll snap it back over there.
Hit recall where?
Here, do you want me to just grab it for you?
Yeah. There we go. Is that correct? Recall. There we go. Okay. Cool. I figured it out. Okay, so I need to place this.
Shoot.
Did I do it wrong? Did I mess something up?
No, I clicked, but I think I did it wrong.
All right. So let's see. I think I have something for this. Do I have something for this?
Now, really quick, did somebody actually shuffle these cards?
Nope, that's why I messed up. That's what I'm saying.
There you go.
I noticed it was 7 and then 6, and I'm like,
No, I'm shuffling them right now.
It'll all be fine.
Okay. Well, I don't seem to have the image that I wanted for this. So I suppose I will just move on then and draw something. So I need... Actually, if this is well, it's not the end of my turn. What is the next part of my turn while I draw?
The next part, we would move the project dice on, but as we don't have any projects currently running, we don't need to do that. So you now get a choice. You can either discover something new, so something new on the map. You can hold a discussion, or you can start a project.
Okay. I said that, and then I spent way too much effort creating my razor hide up here. All right, so
I don't think you could spend too much time on something like that.
let's see. According to turn
the rest of the
summary-
episode is just watching Jack draw
Right.
this thing.
Yeah. All right. So according to turn summary, Just dice. We haven't done anything with dice. So take an action.
Nope.
Discover something new. Hold a discussion. Start a project.
Hmm?
Okay. I don't think we know enough about the planet yet to really start too much of a project. You know
Guys.
what?
I think I may have made a huge mistake accidentally. I may have accidentally deleted spring
Oh, okay.
while trying to shuffle the cards. Give me a second.
Great.
Oh god.
Fine.
Well, let's start a project then. I think let's start a project.
Excellent.
'Cause one of the big developments here is that the Hawkwood Company is coming in as the sort of hired defense force, and well, they are a bit more heavy-handed than Union tends to normally employ themselves. So they're cracking down. So I would like to start a project. It's a good way of putting this. Like I want to establish a curfew and rationing and checkpoints and whatnot. What's a good term for that?
Is it implement martial law,
There
or is
you
that
go.
too
There we go.
strong?
No, that'll work. Yeah, martial law.
Okay,
We're starting off this way.
Jeez.
excellent.
That's quite
Okay,
the project to start with.
Yeah. So, projects normally take anywhere between 6 to 1 weeks, depending on how complex they are. And what I want you to do as a group is tell me how long will it take for them to implement martial law. And that's what you need to decide between the three of you.
This should be a hefty project.
I mean, it's like a hefty project to fully enforce, but like all it is like putting troops in the streets, which doesn't really take that long.
So if you want it shorter and then you want to come back to it, you'd be like deploy troops or reallocate.
Actually,
I'm not.
I do like the idea that it could be quick to set up, but future projects could be trying to get around the curfew or creating new resources or a black market for rationing and whatnot. Yeah, so let's say 2.
Okay. Yeah. Everybody happy with that?
Yep.
Hawkwood
I think that
Company
makes
rolls
sense.
in and just drops troops. Sure, people are not happy about that.
Excellent. Right. So, in our first week, we have discovered that there are vicious razorback style creatures roaming the wilds, and Awkward are putting their foot down in a not too subtle way. I'm sure in their minds to make sure the planet is defended and ready for whatever's to come. Absolutely. People need that kind of level of protection. Okay. Right. So, Zach.
I'm still trying to get spring back. Tell you what we might have to do is just. Oh, wait a second. Okay, what we might have to do is just do a card draw and then see which card it's connected to until I can get it fixed.
We can do that.
Okay. And hearts, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
You tell me what it is, and I'll we can then just drag it from the list.
Okay. Just gonna do a number generator or a card generator.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, it's 9. 9 of hearts.
9 of hearts. Okay, so the 9 of hearts. A charismatic young girl convinces many to help her with an elaborate scheme. What is it? Who joins her endeavors? And you can start a project to reflect that. Or a charismatic young girl tries to tempt many into sinful or dangerous activity Why does she do this, and how does the community respond?
It's a razorback that was able to take the form of a girl so they can take down balls.
Just in a dress.
Everybody, you should come out into the jungle with me.
That's a different
I'm
place.
just a little girl.
Just a razorback with a toupee on.
Yeah,
Lipstick,
Nice
poorly drawn.
flowery dress.
Uh,
Ooh,
And do feel free to sci-fi this up. It doesn't need to be a little girl.
yeah,
No.
absolutely.
no, I took young as like,
Yeah.
under 40 in Lancer.
I think that's
First century, even.
so. Helpful or sinful? Those are your choices.
Okay, what are our scarcities again? Exotics and morale.
Unity, yeah.
Yeah, unity.
Yeah.
You know what? I think that this person. I might need to pull up a name generator for this because I'm blanking. We'll go with her name is Celeste. Sure.
Okay.
And she has heard that there's some movements that are coming in. She's noticed that patrols are starting to shift and adjust. How long has this place been established, Jack? Is this like a well-established planet?
This is a well-established planet. Yeah, it's been in Union
Okay.
for at least 500-600 years.
She is proposing to a small group, as rumors of things in space and whatnot, about starting her own settlement with a small group outside of Union control. But on the planet. So it's naive and foolish, and they don't really have materials. So there's a lot of reasons why it's dangerous and stupid. How does the community respond? I think that there's a small group of people who dig the idea, but for the most part, they are ignored as people who don't know what they're doing. And like they're a group that is being left to their own device because it's such a ridiculous idea.
And so this small group, how many kind of people are you thinking?
Less than 100. It's cult-like is the only like that cult mentality is the only thing that I can really think of to describe it, where it's just like, we need change now, and they're just acting without thinking.
We're gonna go out in the jungle and start a collective.
Yeah, a commune.
And have they, at this point, actually left the confines of the city to start this, or are they in the kind of preparation?
No, this
period?
is preparation. This is
Okay.
Yeah, they haven't left, but it's on their mind. They're making a quick escape into it.
Okay.
So for my design, I'm just going to do deeper into the jungle.
And I guess one last question. Is this a secret? Or is this a kind of like almost preaching on the street? Hey, come and guess what? I've got this great idea. Why don't you all come with me?
I think there's one community, like one little, not suburb, but one area that kind of knows about it. But for the most part, it's definitely not something that'd be brought up to anybody who has any either political power or even like policing power. It's just like a small group of people.
Cool. Excellent. Right. Okay. Happy with that. So in terms of projects, we move the dice on. So that means there's one more week to go for the implementation of martial law. And then, Zach, what would you like to do as your action? So, as we said, you've got a choice of 3. So, either discovering something new, hold a discussion, or start a project. What would you like to do?
I think this one's a little bit obvious, but it's the group leaves, and I think it's like I think their plans to be out before everything's militarized. So it might just be like the grab as much as we can and go. So maybe even a week. No more than 2, I think. Probably.
So, thinking about the potential fact that the martial law's going on as we speak, you kind of see this as quite a quick.
Oh yeah, they're taking their illegal guns and going.
Okay, how much time do you want to all put on that?
Do we think a week makes sense?
A week to quickly gather supplies and just run, yeah.
Yeah? Everybody happy with that?
I think they're all dead, but if they're happy with that, sure, go for it.
So the way I envision this is it's mostly people who have not been outside of more or less the defense grid. It's like they're lying to us. Like, how bad can it really be out there? They're out there all the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
It's the blatantly ignorant.
Have you seen the movie Avatar?
Yes.
Or the news. Right. Excellent. Okay. So
Also, I fixed spring. There you go.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, amazing.
I was like ready to throw up.
Has it been shuffled? That's a no.
No, it has.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
So also what you can do for it, just so everybody knows, is you can click on it and it'll reveal the card, then you can pull it off. Or you can just click on it and it should just like expand it. So
right. So yeah, the eye. It's your turn to draw a card for us.
I get to draw a card. Wow.
Yay!
9.
Next card.
Next
We just did that one.
Yeah.
So I can. How do I send this back?
Don't worry about it. Just click on the one behind it.
Okay. 2 spring. Oh, I'm drawing. I don't want to draw. Stop drawing. Okay. Nope. No. Oh my God. Okay. There we go. There's a large body of water on the map. Oh, there is? No way. Where is it? What does it look like? Or there's a giant man-made structure on the map. Where is it and why is it abandoned? Ooh.
Ooh.
I have another twist. Was this planet Jack around and instituted during the fascist regime?
Well, let's see. Yes.
Okay. So
Towards the
there
tail
is.
end.
Okay. There is an underground bunker in the woods filled with military equipment that was forgotten about because the people that were living here thought that they might be attacked by the fascist forces. They never were, but they thought, oh, well, it'd be probably a good idea to have this big weapon cache just in case it does happen and we need a quick way to grab it. And it's kind of forgotten except for a couple of the elders.
Okay.
So it was actually the second committee of union, as it was the actual fascist government at the time before Third Com. So the rebels were actually the good guys in that. So is this a rebel bunker, or is this an official SecCom bunker?
It was a rebel bunker.
Okay.
Bunker. And what kind of weapons are we potentially talking about?
I'm gonna say that these were mid-high tier. I'm not gonna say they had lancers, but they definitely have like anti-lancer weapons, maybe like missile launchers or something like that.
Ooh.
Nice. Hard suits and anti-armor.
Mm-hmm.
Just waiting for Celeste to... No, I won't say it.
Let's find these weapons.
Excellent. Okay, so do you want to pop that on the map for us then, the eye, please?
No, I don't.
Okay.
But I will anyway. Let's see. So, where's the main city here, would you say?
I think it's more or less all of it, isn't it?
This is all kind of
pretty much,
Prospero Bay.
Yeah.
That's why mine's an arrow. It's pointing out.
I'm gonna say it's on one of the islands.
Ooh,
That one right there.
that's nice.
Excellent. Right.
Yeah, so
Okay.
the islands are actually these like rock pillars that almost looks like the top of a cupped hand is sticking out of the bay. So
So they probably
somehow...
dug out. They dug out probably inside of it, and it's
Yeah.
like the nuclear weapon cache in Dune, where it's like in a mountain but hard to find.
Nice.
Love that. That's very cool. Right. Okay. So the time draws on. So we have now reached a point where our first...
I don't get to do a project, or
You do.
Oh,
but
we do the project wheels first.
Yeah. So first things first is, so Jack, Hawkwood implement martial law. What does that look like, and what are the kind of I guess outcomes of that happening?
Okay. Yeah, so the Hawkwood Company didn't show up in force, really. They had a small transport, a sort of scout ship that they were able to get over into the area first, dropping off Fleet Captain Tiana Baboros. But the main bulk of their defense fleet is still en route and probably won't get here for about a year or so, coincidentally enough. So I think the implementation of martial law is a lot of surveillance equipment and automated defenses that don't need to be directly people operated, and a recruitment pitch for getting local enforcers. So checkpoints might have a Hawkwood Company like lieutenant there, but it would actually have local Iniko IV, local Prospero Bay citizens who are either minded towards that sort of way of thinking or otherwise being compensated somehow, who are actually manning these stations and going on patrols and going to local businesses and counting things for rationing and whatnot.
Cool. And how does that kind of go across amongst, say, the normal citizens?
Yeah, that's another point of fracturing in our unity scarcity problem here, because there probably is a group, might not be a majority group, but there is definitely a group of people on the planet who are who share that mindset that, yeah, sometimes in order to be properly defended, you need to secure your assets, and that means holding on to them tightly and knowing exactly what you have and where they are and what they're doing. So I think it's a unity problem. It's creating more fracturing in the community, and we might be seeing more and more neighborly squabbles popping up in the near future.
Okay. Excellent. Well, not excellent, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is now completed. Zach, Celeste's group.
Speaking of unity and knowing where your people are,
Yep.
68 people and Celeste, like including Celeste, leave this area themselves. They are armed to the teeth with what weapons they can find, whether that was pulling strings to get something bigger. Maybe somebody had one of these famously jailbroken printers and a ton of food, and they're like packed a little bit better than expected. But shortly before the deployment, I think during the middle of the day, just a busy time, and in what would be maybe just like a moment of maybe a changing of the guards or somebody knows their routine, they leave into the jungle, and what happens to them next, who knows? But for now, they are not present.
Okay. And I guess, Zach, the question is, was their going noticed by anybody of any import?
I don't think it was noticed by import, but I think it was a large enough group of people, and they had to move through enough places that members of the community noticed. This is like a small, like a very small, by Lancer standards, militia disappearing into the jungle.
It's still a largest group of people armed to the teeth.
Yeah, it's for their city. It'd be like, I think there was enough that like within the next couple days, anybody who needs to know will hear about it.
Excellent. So the Eye, it's now your turn. So you can either discover something new, hold a discussion, or start a project. What would you like to do?
So, my project is thus. With the implementation of martial law, the Green Sheets decide that they need to start a basically underground railroad coming into the planet to get more, shall we say, more, what's the word I'm looking for here? More people with actual experience of how to resist such martial law.
If I could offer a point of clarification, actually,
Yes.
in case you're
Go
not
ahead.
familiar with Lancer, there is no FTL. This is relativistic travel, so they only have access to what they have access to in the system. In order to bring new people or supplies, it would be years and years and years before they even arrive.
Everything's slow.
Right. All right. So I will recant. What would discovering something new entail?
It's like drawing a card, buddy. What
All
do they
right.
find?
Yep.
I shall
What do you want people to find?
do I draw a card or do I just say
Nope.
that they find something new? Oh,
Just-
okay.
Yeah, just tell us what you discover.
I'm going to say that they discover an artifact of unknown origin.
Okay. An artifact of unknown origin.
Who
Okay.
discovers this artifact of unknown origin?
I'm going to say some random... There are farms here, right?
There are farms in the sense of giant corporate plantations.
Yeah, I would say that it was found by one of those corporations while they were
Okay.
farming. Probably by some rank laborer or something.
Would okay, so a general worker. Would you like it to be someone from Galactic Roots Agricorp, who farms the biomaterial, or would you like it to be someone from Slide Biofuel, who specifically makes, well, biofuel?
The biofuel corp.
All right. Oh, that's gonna be fun.
It's
Can
always the gas, folks.
Can you tell us anything about this artifact, the Eye?
Um,
Do you want to tell us anything about it?
yeah. Can we have a discussion about that?
On another
It's down to you. Yeah. At this
Zach,
point, it is completely down to you.
We can have
Zach,
an
what-
out of character discussion.
Yeah, we can have an out of character discussion, but
So, Zach, what shape did this artifact?
ooh, how big
gonna
are you
s-
thinking this thing? By the way?
I'm going to say that it's about to an average human, and it's about knee height.
Knee height. Okay. I'm gonna say it's some sort of like. I'm thinking like sharp edge, some sort of polyhedral.
Okay.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I was just envisioning my dog's toy. That's like the very image I had in my head was like one of those like kind of spiky dog toys,
Mm.
but big.
That's gonna say that's knee height.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's a big dog.
Yep.
It's a real big dog.
It's,
Um,
if this is just a chew toy, that's brilliant.
back millions of years ago, the Razorbacks were actually domesticated by another faction.
By bigger razorbacks.
Yeah. Okay, Jack. What is there any like etchings or markings on this artifact? Or is it smooth?
No, it's smooth. It's impossibly
Okay.
smooth.
Okay.
Oh, sharp
Possibly
edged
smooth.
and smooth. That's so weird to me.
Like as a sharp edge polyhedral, those are like monomolecular edges. If you touch that thing wrong, if you pick it up wrong, it's gonna slice right through your hand.
There you
God.
go.
Imagine how scary that'd be. You're just out in the gas fields and you're like, oh, what's that? It's about the size of my legs, and you just cut your hand touching it.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say that the one other addition that I will add is that
Mm.
under tell me about the solar geography of this planet. How many moons are there? How many suns are in the
Oh
the
boy. Okay, so the star Iniko is a large main sequence star, probably about, I don't remember what I said, or enough about my astronomy, but probably somewhere in the order of 10, 15 times the size of our sun, but it's still a yellow sun. So it's a big sun, but it's a yellow sun, so you don't need to worry about any, red dwarfs or blue nonsense. There are, I believe I said 8 planets in the system. One notable gas giant, which has an orbiting deuterium rig and a fueling station around it. There is an asteroid belt between the 4th and 5th planet, so just outside of Iniko IV space. And then Iniko 1 is very much like our Mercury, our IRL system Mercury. And it has a fleet of roving AI and NHP gigantic roving minor rigs that travel the dark side rotation of the planet. As far as Iniko itself, I'm going to say it has 2 moons.
What I will say is that when the moons eclipse each other, the artifact glows gold.
Okay.
And that is what I will leave it at.
Okay.
Spooky.
So I had one question. This individual who has found this, as of yet, has he made a decision, or she, as to what they're going to do with this artifact?
I think that they don't even really get a chance to do anything about it. I think the corporation, like, I'm guessing, has quite a few people just around these mills. So I'm guessing the corporation was pretty easily able to get a hold of it once it was found.
Okay.
Slide scoop
Excellent.
that up.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. Right. Okay.
If I may add, that worker who found it, we don't know where he is anymore. He's gone.
Yeah. And their family
He's
is
been relocated. Okay, brilliant.
Been rewarded for his efforts.
Yeah, promotion. That brings us back round to Jack then. So it's your go again. Draw a card for us, Jack.
All right. Down to spring here, and what do? I just click on it.
You click, and then you...
Then what is it? How do I make?
You can drag it to your hand, or onto the... You just drag and drop it onto the play area.
Okay.
Yeah.
That up and zoom in for people to see. What do we got here? We have... Are there children in the community? If there are, what is their role in the community? I mean, that's kind of obvious. It's an entire planet. Or how old are the eldest members of the community, and what unique needs do they have? I think the latter is more interesting here. Oldest members of the community. It is a rim world, so it doesn't have all of the technological medical developments of core world to keep people going for 200 or so years, but we probably have people pushing 150, 170, somewhere up there. There's people who really live long, and their secret to life is 3 packs of smokes a day and a case of sarsaparilla. Something ridiculous. No, let's see. The eldest members of this community. Well, we know of one, or at least our Starcrier Lancers do, with Michello Corrigan, who is the leader of the newly kind of developed Union Loyal Independence. But we don't need to get too much into that. I think the eldest members of this community really are like die-hard Union supporters, and they don't like this idea of the Hawkwood Company. These are people who originally grew up as the generation just after, or like grandchildren of the generation who fought in the SecCom, ThirdCom Civil War. So they are very much in favor of that sort of hands-off administration, diplomacy first, utopian pillar style union. So I think they really are taking the fracturing of their community pretty badly, because they're seeing everything that their world has grown and become and represent starting to fall apart, starting with the Hawkwood Company, which is then further being exacerbated by the green sheets, the corporate, what did I call them? Not syndicate, that has a bad connotation.
Bureaucrats.
Consortium, yeah, the corporate consortium here that is the green sheets, trying to nickel and dime everybody and get their own policies sort of shoved in where they can. So they see the fracturing and the low morale on the planet, and they are taking it particularly poorly. So I think they are one of the bigger proponents that are trying to actively go out amongst the different communities and act as liaisons between these groups, or act as they're basically doing the door-to-door thing, trying to get the planet back to what it was.
Okay. Do they have any, I guess, specific needs in terms of either equipment or medication or any of those kinds of things that might not be readily available, or because of the 3D printing, actually, that's not an issue?
Well, let's see. This is a rim world, and the more complex you try to print, the more exotic materials you will need. As we don't have energy to matter, so you do still have to have the actual elemental atoms to print the things if they require those sort of molecules. So I think, yeah, they do have medical needs that are in normal times would be supplied by the state fairly regularly. But with this sort of doomsday bunker prepping mentality that seems to be popping up, and with the Hawkwood coming in and rationing and probably scraping some supplies off the top for themselves and for their bunkers and supplies when the defense fleet gets here, that things like highly specific antibiotics and coagulants and higher price tag medical equipment could be diminishing faster than usual and threatening this elder population.
Okay. Cool. Okay, so we don't have any current projects running at the moment. So Jack, it's now down to you. So either discuss. Oh, sorry, go for it.
Oh, I was just gonna say, the eye. Did you remember to draw your stuff on the map? / the old people on the map as well, I guess.
I guess just draw where it was found.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Or where it might be being housed. That is one of the difficulties with this. Again, we're focusing on just Prospero Bay when we really are kind of defining larger reaching areas.
I would say just do where it was found. Like,
well, if
it's
it was
the last
found,
known
it's
location of it.
way off the map.
Oh, okay.
Because again, these are whole plantations that stretch, dozens, maybe hundreds of miles.
It's the headquarters of whichever place it was found from.
I'm going to say that it's being housed.
Housed is far scarier than somebody's thinking about it here.
Mm-hmm. And then what? I need to draw old people.
Yeah,
something about them.
Draw old people.
Okay, how do I want to represent old people?
That is the $1 million question.
Yeah. Oh boy.
A prune.
Right.
180.
Okay. This is gonna get. We'll see how this turns out.
Waterfront property.
We do this.
Yep.
Cross it over. Put some more legs down here.
Love it.
Walker. There we go.
Yes. Excellent.
I adore that.
That's great. Yeah, so Jack, what would you like to do? You can discover something new, hold a discussion, or start a project.
Okay. Man, I'm really leaning into it, and I don't know how I feel about it. Leading into this authoritarian fascist faction, It's called being a forever GM. I'm always the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Let's see. So we've established that Celeste's group managed to make it out without getting noticed, right? So
they managed to get out. People in the city are starting to talk about it.
It's been 2 weeks since they left.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So so that I think that's enough time for it to trickle down into this this being recruited civilian enforcer group. And I think the Hawkwood Company would like to start an investigation into this group that left. Figure out who they are, if they have any supporters in the city, and where they left and with what supplies, because those are their supplies.
Jack, can I ask a question about their approach?
Yeah.
Do they do this as concerned newcomers, or as this is ours and we want it back?
It's definitely more the latter. But it's more phrased, this is the community's resources and the community wants it back. And
yeah. Sorry, I meant how are they making it appear to the common folk? Like, hey, we're worried about these people who've gone missing, or have you heard of this criminal?
No, this is actually secret police bullshit. These are plainclothes people going door to door trying to infiltrate this and other such sort of underground communities.
Okay.
And so is the makeup of that group residents that have signed up, or is it kind of kept very internal? It's only, the guys off who've arrived that are conducting this.
No, I think it is the local enforcers that they've been able to recruit, but again, they're being overseen by like a Hawkwood lieutenant or something.
Yeah.
Some of them probably know people who have left. So.
Excellent. And how long do you anticipate this will last for?
I think something like this takes time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think...
I was going to say 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, I was going to say 4 or 5 weeks. Yeah. Let's err on the higher side and just say 5 weeks, because they're also looking into the broader problem of like-minded folk. I'll say 5 weeks.
Excellent. So yeah, talk about not just the fact they've left and what they've taken with them, but are there supporters they've left behind, and will they potentially cause issues going forward? That kind of thing. Okay. 5 weeks. Everybody happy with 5 weeks?
Yep.
I'm good with 5 weeks.
Okay, so Jack, that's your turn done. Zach, do you want to pull a card for us?
Let's see what we got. Is that the 10? 10 of spring. Okay. There's another community somewhere on the map where what sets them apart from you, or what belief or practice. I think that Celeste crew is not the way to go with this one with another community. So what belief or practice helps to unify your community? So I think, Jack, correct me if I'm wrong, at the heart of this is kind of like is Union Loyal Independence. It's kind of like the founders and where the city kind of propped up from originally.
I'm sorry, what do you mean? What are you asking?
The city was more so founded by like the independents, right?
I mean,
where they're like self-governing.
It's a union colony.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the faction I have written up for you guys, the Union Loyal Independents, are people who are otherwise loyal to Union, but if Union starts breaking down, like it, looks like it's going back to SecCom in
Okay.
what kind of ways, they will declare independence. It's a new faction. This planet was
Gotcha.
established, as we've established, during the tail end of SecCom, as probably one of the first third com leaning pillar worlds, or at least rim
Gotcha.
worlds with that sort of mentality. So it's Union, through and through.
Okay. So I think there is a practice that happens every now and then for the people, and it is some sort of joint holiday where even if it's just for like a day, things slow down incredibly. Like just they slow down and people kind of come out onto the street. They act as one body. It's like I don't know. It's kind of like almost like a Christmas, but it's like to celebrate the settlement as is. It's kind of like a Independence Day isn't like the right word for it, but it's like like a capital day kind of deal.
Sure.
To celebrate the founding of wow, I lost it. I cannot remember the name of this town. Prospera Bay. There it is. So I think it's like just like it's one day, and in that day it's just like a time to relax and get to know your neighbor. And in previous years that was like really big and successful, and this year specifically it's starting to look a little bit more hairy.
So I guess the question is, what's the turnout for this day?
I don't think it's happening yet, but I think usually it's really big. It's really popular. And it's like an excuse to get off the school for a day. It's some of the lesser important jobs. Like important jobs will have like shortened hours. And just like there's a chance for basically people to cycle in and out of celebration, whether that's like at home with family or in the heart of Prospera Bay, with other people. But I think they make a big show of it if it was like a weekend event at one point. But like, who knows? I think a big concern is that people aren't sure what it's going to look like this year amongst, like, you probably hear talks about it amongst like the older generations and like little kids who are like, yeah, like I'm excited for this to happen, and then the seniors are like, oh, I don't know if it'll even happen.
Yeah, there's
So-
probably usually a parade that goes about with like street performers and whatnot. There's probably a few different like street fair kind of things, block party kind of things.
People come from other like townships, like they'll fly in for the weekend kind of deal. I imagine it's like a really big and special occasion because they don't happen very often. Yeah.
What
So,
do you think Hawkwood's take is
Security
on
risk.
this?
I think they think it's a security risk, but they also understand the morale portion of it. They're like, yeah, I mean, like, soldiers know that celebration's important so that communities don't riot.
I imagine it's a lot like Times Square New Year's Eve festival. Like
That's kind of the
everyone's
vibe
doing
I
their
was-
thing without any conscious recognition that there are snipers in dozens of windows and plainclothes officers amongst the crowd.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Excellent.
So I'm just going to do a fireworks over the bay as my little symbol here.
Nice.
You know what? I think that's how it ends. At like on the last day, some sort of fireworks show over the actual bay, so that no matter where you are in the city, you can see
You
it.
can see it. Nice.
And the dogs hate it.
Yeah. Really.
How do I get the card off here? Because I was able to. Thank you. I was able to hand the cards to your guys' hand, but on my turn, I couldn't put it in my own hand, which is hilarious. But, yeah. So
Cool. So we move the project forward for the investigation. So that's now 4 weeks. And then, Zach, what would you like to do? Discover something new, have a conversation, or start a project?
I think, you know what? I think I'm going to start a project. And I think
Excellent.
this one comes from the independents, because they understand that unity amongst the colony is dropping. And that's kind of how they established themselves, was as a united front. And now there's new players. So I think that, is it Michello Corrigan?
That is the leader of this faction. Yes.
No. I think he puts some people aside. Like he spares some folks to make sure. I'm going to say it's Prospera Day, as they call it.
Okay.
He's put aside a group to plan the events for this year.
Excellent.
And just like it's not even like he's requested some of his brass, they'll like sponsor it. He has some sway in the community, obviously. So trying to, if he doesn't like having these newcomers, but they're here, they're going to be here for a long time. So if he can trick them into joining him,
Is it more
or at
trick them
least
into
feeling,
joining them, or trying to legitimately mend fences and create compromise?
I think he's trying to create compromise. Like, I don't think that he has nasty intent with it. I think he genuinely sees his city and he's like, if we don't start intervening, something's going to happen.
Excellent. And how long before Prosper Day takes off?
I'm going to say 6 weeks.
Okay, 6 weeks of prep time. Excellent.
That makes sense to everybody. It's like over a month to plan something like this, and also enough time for everything to go wrong.
I mean, it's like you said, it's a big event. The potential is there for something to happen, definitely.
I think they're stressed that they didn't start planning already.
Yeah, I guess there's a potential for it to have been on the back burner whilst all these discussions have been going around about, we probably need to do something about whatever's out there.
Yeah, trying to talk to the group that's enforcing a curfew to let people party for 2 days.
Mm. Yeah, that's a hell of a thing to do. Excellent. Okay. And that probably feels like a really good place for us to stop for our break for the evening, as it's already kind of like 1:30 in the morning here in the UK. So we're going to take 10 minutes. I'm going to go and caffeinate myself up to the eyeballs, and we will be back to continue on with our playthrough of the Quiet Year. So thanks for joining us, and do come back in about 10 minutes.
Be right back, folks.
Hey everyone, we are back with the second part of tonight's show of The Quiet Year. So, thank you for coming back and joining us. We are about to go into the Eye's turn. So, the Eye, do you want to kick us off with drawing a card for us, please?
Indeed. 5. Yeah. Drawing things. I want draw things. There is a disquieting legend about this place. What is it? Ooh. Or alarming weather patterns destroy something. How and what?
Ooh.
Mm.
Ooh, both of those are so good.
Very.
I like this card a lot.
Great choice,
Well,
isn't it?
I'm going to try to feed the first one into my action. So, there is a legend that there is a kind of cicada-like creature that only springs up once every many, many years. That's possibly worse than the Razorbacks. But basically, there's a legend that there is this creature that lays eggs, and then years and years later, they spring from the ground. And there's been like weird shells found here and there, but nothing that would match with those shells. Yeah.
So the native population hasn't actually come across any of these creatures, just evidence of these creatures.
Correct.
Mm.
Kind of thought of like dinosaurs right now.
Mm.
I mean, the razor hides kind of are dinosaurs.
Yeah. But these things are like, oh yeah, like we find shells and stuff, but like we've been here for so long, we've never seen one.
Right.
Like it's obviously extinct.
Mm-hmm. And is this when we say this is a legend? Is this something that's kind of written down in books as part of a history, or is it the kind of thing that's told around, you know, a fire or a in the hearth of a pub to kind of scare people?
I would suspect that this is more of a local population, like spoken word type of thing. Even perhaps the old trope of like, well, if you don't go to bed on time, little Jimmy, this thing will come out of the ground and come eat you.
We'll get you.
Okay. And as we've got a few people in the city that are, you know, a little bit on the older side, has anybody claimed that they have seen this in their lifetime?
There's always claims, but there's never any evidence.
Excellent. Okay. And do you want to mark that on the map for us, please?
The legend. It encompasses the whole map. I just here. Let me just do this real quick. No, I don't know how I would mark that.
Could draw the shell.
An egg.
Yeah.
Or an egg, yeah.
I'll draw a wee beastie.
Tick.
Yeah.
Man, that would be awful. That's like, there's so many things you could have pulled from, but big tick sounds real bad.
Yeah.
It does not sound good, does it?
Just latches onto you for a second and all your blood's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like-
Okay.
B-movie horror attack.
So, we currently have 2 projects going on at the moment, which we will move on. So, there are 3 weeks left of the Hawkwood investigation, and now 5 weeks to go until Prospero Day is ready to go. So, the Eye, what action would you like to take?
So with discussion, what would that do? Like, are we discussing a possible other thing that could exist here, or is there like what does that mean?
Where are
Let's,
the discussion rules?
Yes, let's bring up some of the details for that. So,
Because it's what? One
Whole
a statement or question, and then one
Mhm.
sentence answers.
Okay.
So,
Right.
yeah, you open for question or declaration, starting with you and going clockwise. Everyone gets to weigh in once, sharing a single argument comprised of just a couple of sentences.
Okay, so I get to pose a question.
Hmm.
Is there a local cult?
What? This question for Jack. What does faith look like in Lancer? It's not really touched on, right?
I mean, there are as many different faiths in Union as there are stars, probably more.
Okay.
Union is very much live and let live. You're free to, have your own thoughts and convictions and whatnot, as long as they don't infringe on anybody else.
Okay.
Okay.
So, that is the question that has been posed to the 2 of you. Is there a local cult?
I mean, there's so many different people in Prospero. There's tons going on here. There's got to be at least one. There's huge population, so much strangeness about this planet. I can't imagine there's not one, or at least not one of religion that's considered one.
Jack, what do you think?
Well, I already know the answer to this question.
This is as the community.
Yeah.
That's how you answer it, though. So
Okay. So this is discussion amongst the community.
discussion is in character.
Yeah.
Okay.
Guess that's important.
Yes. There have been a lot of rumors of late of people acting strangely, of people losing time or finding themselves in locations that they wouldn't normally go to and don't remember how they get there. People being confused and people having strange dreams. Dreams of dripping, melting stars, screaming babies, feeling of home, dampness. Some people are starting to act weird.
And then is that everything, Jack?
Yeah, I'd say so.
And then I believe the eye gets a closing statement.
The eye gets a closing statement.
It can either reflect those things or it can be another group in the community that you're voicing.
I am going to say that this cult somehow learned about the artifact.
Oh, you think that's the take that they're saying, that they learned about the artifact?
Yeah.
Okay.
Artifacts and cults, they don't go well together.
I
I
listen.
think
Flavor,
very well
flavor-wise, they do, but
have
as
a
a
lot-
population,
I have a long history with both, and I disagree.
So, can you mark that on the map for us, please? The eye.
I keep on coming up with things that don't like
Mhm,
I
yeah.
have good drawing things. What do I say? What would I do for this? Like, just big old. Oh, wait.
This is the best map ever, by the way.
Cults.
Mhm. I mean, that'll do it.
I don't know what else to do about that one.
Okay, and we are back to Jack. So, Jack, do you want to draw a card for us, please?
All right, let's draw a card. Oh, that's not the right screen. All right, I just click and drag. There we go. Zoom on in for our viewers here. The 8 of Hearts in spring. The options. An old piece of machinery is discovered, broken but perhaps repairable. What is it? What would it be useful for? Oh no. Or, an old piece of machinery is discovered, cursed and dangerous. How does the community destroy it? Well, that second option has a bit more of a fantasy flavor to it with cursed.
It does.
could be like rogue AI though.
Yes. I mean,
Yes.
we could, for cursed, you could mean, we could say
Taboo. Could be.
dangerous.
Jack had an idea.
Okay.
So in some way it could pose a danger to the community.
Okay. I'm thinking of my Lancer timeline here, and I think it works. Could I say that that it's not something that the people or factions of Prospero Bay have found, but it's actually something that Celeste's group has found
They're technically still part of the community.
out in the,
Absolutely.
well,
Yeah.
Yes.
but far out in the jungle somewhere, removed mostly
Yeah.
from what
Oh
is
my
going
gosh.
on here in Prospero Bay. They have found an old mech. They found an old Lancer frame.
Jack, you've made me the happiest girl in the world.
Yeah. Oh, it gets better. This Lancer frame, however, once it is, well, I mean, they run off of cold fusion generators, and when those things, I mean, they last for a long time, especially if they go into power save mode. So what's 600 years for them? It activates on its own when a member of the community approaches it, and it has an installed NHP, which for those not familiar with Lancer is basically a paracausal eldritch math god shoved into an AI restraint casket and made to think more or less like people and linear time frames and whatnot. But an NHP, a non-human person, the most alien thing that the citizenry of Union really knows about. So this real old mech suit has an installed NHP in it.
Excellent. Love that. And if you just want to pop that on the map for us.
Scary. It's so
Ah,
exciting, but it's so scary.
Oh yeah. I've just created a lot of work for myself.
Okay, so we move our 2 projects on that we have. So the Hawkwood investigation and Prosper Day. And then, Jack, it is now down to you to decide what you would like to do. So, find something new, a conversation, discussion, or start a project.
There you go. That's a really shoddy mech suit for you.
It's better than I could do, trust me.
All right. Let's start a project. I feel like I'm focusing a little too heavily on the Hawkwood company here. So I think the green sheets, let's see, our corporate consortium of agricultural corp and biofuel. I think they are, yeah, they're doing a internal promotion and training campaign in order to get more of their general workforce more in line with HQ, more in line with corporate, and promoting from within and excising those currently in corporate who may be a little too union leaning for their mind. So they are, yeah, they're trying to prioritize corporate loyalty over general union loyalty.
So, is this
Yeah,
is this almost like a streamlining their, I guess, their structure that may mean certain people no longer fit with what they're looking for?
Yeah. See, the problem is, it's definitely something they would do. How do we play that out in game terms with a clock and an actual final goal?
Could be like a program that they run.
Right. Yeah. But final tangible goal to say happens. Other than I
could
guess
just be tell it complete.
Yeah. I guess there's if you're kind of talking about maybe removing elements who are no longer or who don't fit the corporate bill, I guess that's a long-term goal, is to by the end of it you want a loyal and united workforce, for want of a better word.
Yeah.
Would it result in people losing their jobs, or perhaps being demoted? Okay.
Yeah, there would be a reshuffling of corporate. So there would be people at the top who are either fired or moved down. There would be people at the bottom who are being moved up, in order to move individuals who are loyal to other corporate exec individuals, as opposed to loyalty to the company as a whole, and definitely more than loyal to union and the community as a whole. We're playing corporate wars now.
Yes, corporate reshuffle. Okay, yeah. I like that. How long is that going to take, do you think?
I think that's actually a pretty swift process, really. I think 3 weeks would about do it.
Yeah.
Identify, who's being problematic to their books, and who will look the other way when the books need to be properly restructured.
Excellent. Okay. Everybody happy with that? 3 weeks for a corporate reshuffle?
Yeah.
3 weeks makes sense to me.
Okay. Zach, we are back with you. Let's draw a
right.
card.
What do we got? Okay, this is the card that I needed to pull out because it's the 7. What do we got here? Jack of Spring. You see a good omen. What is it? Or you see a bad omen. What is it? Okay. Yeah, I think I know what this is. There is a solar event that happens. It's a good omen, and it's essentially all the astral bodies that are visible in the sky line up very clearly. So it's the 2 moons on either side of the sun. So the sun is wedged between the 2. Visually speaking, at least. And it's rare. It doesn't happen often, but when people see it, it's like, oh, it's going to be like a good week. It's kind of like a good harvest. Good. It's just shuffled down over time. People get excited about it. I think this redoubles the effort on our friends over who are trying to get ready for their celebrations.
And is this something that people would know about? So it's like a documented day, or does it just occur and people are like, oh wow, look at that?
I think it shows up the same way that like people would know that it's coming.
Yeah. Like
they're technologically advanced society. Like they're like, oh shit, next week we're gonna have a linear sunset or something like that.
Nice.
But yeah, so moon on either side, sun in the middle.
Excellent. Okay.
And it's considered a good omen for the week.
And is there anything specifically tied to this omen, or is it just general good luck?
I think it's general good luck. In reality, it's probably like it probably fucks up the animals a little bit, but so like razor hides get confused. So like during the specific event, they're like, all right, like take advantage if there's anything near. Let's deal with them now. So it could be, I think it's luck with safety now that we're talking about this a little bit more full on. I think people are like, it's going to be a beneficial week.
Yeah.
For prosperous and health and that kind of stuff. So.
Excellent. Right, okay, so the Hawkwood investigation has only 1 week left on that. There's 3 weeks left until Prosper Day, and there is 2 weeks until the corporate reshuffle is completed. Right, Zach, what would you like to do now?
Gonna discover something.
Oh, and what are you going to discover?
During just like routine comms check, a lower rank Hawkwood Company member receives a transmission that them and their unit miss the beginning of, because they start recording it a little too late, but it is a scrambled signal of some sort that they will need to decipher. So it's some strange, it's in a cipher that they aren't familiar with. So it's not one of theirs. And I think when they speak to representatives from the other groups or anybody higher up, rumors get out, but other people can't match the signal either. It's something totally not of these factions. It's just a weird signal.
And in terms of, is it just a cipher that they just can't break, and something that they would perhaps be working on, or is it just something nobody's ever seen before?
I don't think they know yet.
Okay.
I think they assume they can break it, but I don't think they're sure yet because it's weird.
Yeah.
It's specifically a weird signal.
How does this make them feel?
Unnerved. They're about security. They're here to get a grip on the planet. And so far as they've been here, it's just, it's like the odds are fighting against them. Because every time they're like, all right, like, we got the people secured. Fuck. A bunch of people ran away. There might be a cult here. Shit. Like that kind of stuff. So I think this is just like one more thing that at least at the top brass is frustrating and irritating.
Awesome. Anything else to add to that?
Not from me.
Okay, moving on then. The Eye, do you want to draw a card for us?
Sure. The 4 of Spring. I keep on having myself draw, and I don't want to draw. What important and basic tools does the community lack? Or where are you storing your food? Why is this a risky place to store things?
These are both interesting. Because there's a lot of new scarcity, probably.
This one's hard. Crap, I don't know on this one. They just don't have enough Leathermans. They don't have any multi-tools. It's very rough. Very rough.
This is a particularly difficult question to answer in Lancer because they just print what they need.
Right. Yeah, should I skip this one and draw another one?
I think, well, I mean, we know that they can print what they need, but I think you were saying earlier on, Jack, that they've still got to have the raw materials to be able to print everything. So there'll be some things that they won't be able to print as much of because the raw material isn't there. Is that right?
Yeah, but generally that wouldn't be basic tools. That would be more exotic materials, things that need
Sure.
heavier elements that, just aren't available naturally or in abundance.
The only
We're
thing
all out of spices. Everything's bland now.
Yeah.
there's no turmeric. The only thing that I could possibly think of is like the food, like the larger farms have to be like the really good agricultural areas where there's like good soil are like just outside the city so they can be attacked by razorbacks, but that's like the only thing that's coming to mind.
Yeah, that's kind of already established too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I should draw a different card.
Okay.
Yeah,
If
I'm not
everybody's
sure this
happy with
card
that,
really fits.
Yeah. Go for it.
The King! A young boy starts digging in the ground and discovers something unexpected. He finds another artifact. An old man confesses
Second part of it.
The old man confesses to past crimes and atrocities. Well, let's say
There's one for you.
let's say that one of the old men here was a general for the fascist government when it existed, and
That would have been
he
400 years before he was born.
damn it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could do he help the Celeste group out too?
Past crimes and atrocities. God, I'm just drawing blanks. I'm sorry, guys.
Sorry?
World building's
Young
hard.
boys. Yeah.
It's okay.
Young
We all
boy.
get performance anxiety sometimes.
What about
You know what? Wait, I got it.
Go for
So
it.
here's what I'm gonna
Cool.
say. The young boy discovers another artifact very similar to the first, but a different organization gets a hold of it. So what happens is, what was the other company you told me about, Jack? The one that did get it?
There is Slide Biofuel and there is Galactic Roots Agricorp.
So the Agricorp got the first one.
You said Slide got the first one.
Slide got the first one. So Agricorp gets the second one.
They are more or less working together right now, though corporates working together is working together.
All right, fine. The green sheets get the second one.
Those are branches of.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
green sheets are
they're-
made up of these two corporations.
Fine. I'll go full-fledged. The cult gets hold of the second one.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Jack was praying.
Oh no.
And when you say similar, how similar is it?
It is made of the exact same material with very similar angles, but instead of being like I shouldn't say similar angles. I would say that it's more of a platform. It's more of like a large circular disc that has like almost a bowl to it. But it is made from the same material and it has very sharp edges like the other one.
And how likely is it that other people will have heard about this discovery?
Low.
Extremely low. They don't even know this cult actually exists.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else you want to add to that one?
This one seems to suck light from the surrounding area. Like not like a whole room, but like within like a few inches, it's like almost pitch black.
Excellent. Just what you need, mysterious artifacts turning up.
Is there any feeling to that? Like if they reach their hand into that, do they like feel like a suction, or like does their hand just disappear?
I mean, I have an idea. I just don't know how much. I don't know how much Jack wants me to fill in on this, and I don't know how much he wants to run with on his own. So that's up to you, Jack.
Should we leave it open for the moment?
Yeah, let's leave it
Yeah.
open. Because I mean,
Let's let it
this
ruminate
is
for a bit.
Yeah.
this is a big fancy present you just given me.
Yeah, I know. This is why you summoned me.
Yeah.
Oh, your Lancers are going to love this. Okay, so changes right to our projects. So, we are now in the position where the Hawkwood company's investigation has finished. Jack, what is the outcome of this investigation?
The outcome of this investigation. Yeah, I think they discover a sort of they discover a secret supply line that is being maintained between the city and this commune out there to help filter people, smuggle people and goods out of Prospera Bay.
Ooh, so it's growing.
So yeah, so potentially the community is growing, but that supply line has now been discovered. Meaning that the community has probably been discovered, and they might be working on infiltration or subversion elements.
So at this point, they've gathered all the information, understand what's occurring. Potentially next, they're going to decide what to do about it.
Yeah, yeah.
How big was the group within inside the city? What kind of size are we talking here in terms of this supply line?
I don't think it's a lot of people.
Okay.
I think there's like a handful of businesses that might know about this and use their own sort of trade routes and trade vehicles in and amongst Prospera Bay, and also going out to other actually established legitimate communities. And then, you know, sometimes a package just gets dropped off, or a vehicle gets dragged into the forest by a razorback. People and supplies just go missing, secretly funneled elsewhere. So not a lot of people.
Okay. Okay, I guess we'll wait for their response before we kind of see what impact that's going to have on the community, I think.
Okay.
Anything else you want to add to that?
No, not yet. I think anything to be added will be future projects.
Yeah, sure. Okay. We will move the other two along as well. So 2 weeks until Prosper Day and 1 week until our restructuring. And so the Eye, what would you like to do? Discover something, start a conversation, or start a new project?
Start a new project.
Okay, and what project would you like to start?
With the discovery of this new artifact, the cult begins a massive recruitment campaign.
Okay.
I'm gonna veto that.
Damn
If
it!
I can. Sorry.
Okay. I'll go with my original idea. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
I
I
just
know
feel
I
like
threw you off there, but I already
Yeah.
know what this cult is and what they're doing.
Okay. You just keep vetoing all my ideas, Jack. Okay, discussion.
Okay.
During the implementation of the martial law, does Hawkeye Are there any really bad things that happen during its implementation?
So how does the community feel about the implementation
No,
or the
like
events of the
like
implementation?
yeah, like more the events. Like, does a soldier get out of the line and accidentally kill someone? Does some atrocity happen, etc.?
Trying to think if we phrase that as a question.
Yeah, because it's community members discussing with community members. So,
So, I mean, what about just asking an open question about what have been your experiences
What did
of
you hear?
martial law?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Zach, do you want to go first on that one?
Yeah, sure, I can do that. It sucks. I work in the inner city. I need to rush back home. I've been taken to the ground a couple times. I've been fined. I've been hit. I thought these guys were here to protect us. And like, I get it. Like, things are scary right now. But this is going to happen to me every week. I'm going to have to leave my job. I don't want to do that.
You gotta be doing something wrong. Maybe check their ordinances. Maybe read the rules. I don't know. I've only seen. I mean, yeah, I've seen the rank and file get a little rowdy, but when the actual suits come in, the actual uniforms come in, the only beatings I've seen is them smacking their batons against their own people, telling them to cool their jets. They're heavy-handed, sure, but I think they're trying.
I like imagine this as like 3 people on their lunch break.
Yeah.
Like that's how I see this. Like,
Mike's gonna break that one.
Do you want to give a closing statement, the eye?
Yeah.
like
I'm
your
young.
person says.
I'm 16. And oftentimes before this martial law thing came down, me and my friends would go out and play in the streets or in the alleys, and play like handball or try to find some snacks or maybe even be able to steal some drinks from some old coot that lives down the road. Well, I guess no one really told anyone else, because when I was running out of old Joe's house, guess it was after curfew and I didn't realize it. And I didn't really hear that shot ring out.
What did you see?
Well, after the shot rang out, I didn't see much of anything.
How does that make the two of you feel?
That some kid heard a gunshot?
Well, the implication is that the kid got
He's blind
shot.
now. Yeah, he's shot and blind now.
Shot blind. That's an interesting shot.
Yeah.
I don't know. You get shot, you bang your head.
Well, you could go one of two ways with this. Either the kid died or the kid is in a coma now.
So, A ghost soliloquy as opposed to
Yes.
a third party to this lunch break conversation. Okay.
Yeah.
No, let's make this sadder. It's two brothers at their younger brother's bedside
Yeah.
in the hospital.
Oh. Nothing like the eye making things dark.
I mean, there's no evidence that Hawkwood was involved. Kid was out at night, got shot. Shouldn't have been out at night. There was a curfew. Justified. We need more stringent. I mean, things are going to shit around here. People are printing weapons. People are leaving, and black market trade is increased. There's people arguing in the streets about this new factional divide here. Tensions are rising. I mean, yeah, maybe people should stay indoors at night.
This is like big brother who moved out, middle brother, little brother situation.
How do you find that, Zach?
He's stuck in the middle. I'm stuck in the middle. I get that, like, things are tumultuous, but also, like, and like, for the most part, I think that most of the community could say this, like, the intentions are good, but you can't keep every dog on a leash.
Cool. Anything else you want to add to the eye?
Nope, that's good on my part.
Back to the top then. So, Jack, it's you. If you want to draw a card for us.
All right. Click on this and I drag it out. There we go. Same thing. The Three of Hearts. We have someone new arrives. Who is it? Or two of the community's younger members get into a fight. What provoked them? I think we've seen enough of the latter. I think it's kind of built into what is going on right now. Someone new arrives. Well, I mean, there's an easy answer to this. The Lancers show up. This is when the events of our main show really kick off, and we're still pretty early. I feel like that could work. And Tal, how, as I look at my wrist, look at my wrist.
Yes.
How long are you planning on running us for tonight? Another half hour?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Another half an hour. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think actually it's kind of a cheap out for this card, I'll admit, but I think the new people who arrive are our Lancers and their union support, administrative support group. So this is when our Lancers actually show up on the scene, which is good because now this Sunday they'll be able to interact with everything that has just recently been happening in the last month and a half here, and whatever we get up to in the next half hour. I think the introduction of sorry, Zach, did you have something?
Oh, I was gonna say, if my math has happened, it's Prosper a day.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It is, yes.
Okay.
It is indeed.
Fine. I can work with that. No, I can definitely work with that. Okay. Yeah, so the Lancers showing up, I think there is sort of an immediate response of, oh, phew, Union has finally showed up. They're finally giving us the assets we need. All of this factional politics can end. You know, the actual Union administration is here. And then it becomes, wait, they sent us 5 mercenaries who have been on the job for a handful of missions, and they're going to secure our star system? I don't know whether to be more upset about these people showing up, these ragtag rim kids who think they're better than Navy officers, or the Hawkwood Company, who are kind of just the same thing. So it's a little positive followed by a lot of squinty-eyed questioning.
And
Question.
sorry,
Oh, I was gonna say, I got a question about that, Jack. Do you think that like helps reinforce like across the city? Like it's like one like joint like, oh man, or is it like a little bit less like a little bit more divided?
I mean, division is kind of the name of the game here on Iniko for right now. I think the general population really was okay. Unions here, and then oh wait, I don't know if this is exactly, you know, they're sending us hand me downs here when we really needed, you know, new out of the box winter blankets or whatever. But you know, each of the different factions are going to have their own views on it, which are going to develop as our Starcrier Lancer characters make policy decisions on their own.
so were they expected? As in, did all the factions know they were coming and how many were coming, or is this we knew we were getting something, but
The general population knew that they were getting something, that they were being sent Union Navy strategic defense advisors to help secure the system and represent Union's voice in coming administrative and policy matters regarding the safety and prosperity of the planet and the system and yada yada yada. It was only the sort of now local council of officials who was more recently informed that it is 5 Lancers that have been sent. 8 Lancers that have been sent. Some of which are just, you know, rim kids who went through the academy and decided to be, you know, Lancer mercs as opposed to Navy officers. But we do have a Harrison in the group, an actual clone of the Harrison in the group. One of the NPCs is a Union Far Angel, which is basically if the actual UN, modern day IRL UN's peacekeeping elite force was actually useful, sort of situation.
yeah.
And people who have legitimately had voices in running communities before, but it's still, you know, instead of getting a new planetary governor and top Navy admiral advisor or something, no, they're getting 5 Lancers who have been on the job for perceptual time like a year.
I think it'd be interesting. I can't wait to see how the other groups are going to respond to that.
Mm-hmm.
And that'd be really interesting. Right. Okay. Let us look at our projects then. So, I think it is indeed. No, there's one more week till Prosper Day.
Ah, it's unfortunate. Oh well.
But the green sheets have completed their corporate reshuffle.
Okay.
So, Jack, what's the outcome of that?
Yeah, it's the actual outcome, physical overt outcome that kind of stumped me.
Okay, so to clarify, people would have lost their jobs.
Yeah.
So would that potentially cause resentment or ill feeling towards the green
So
sheets?
well, in a very different way than I think we're thinking, because it's not the common worker who lost their jobs. It's the big people in corner offices and fancy chairs that their chairs weren't pointed in exactly the right direction. So they got
Yeah.
kicked out and now somebody else is sitting in their chair. So there's a lot of formerly powerful people who have lost their job. Some of them probably just disappeared. But there probably are a few people now in the community who who definitely hold some resentment and may actually have some corporate secrets, or think they have corporate secrets or corporate ties, with plans of revenge or retribution or something like that. But on the other end of it, the general worker population probably feels a lot more heard. It's probably been working very closely in line with the Joint Labor Workers Union, and this is probably really when Mrs. Kifa Barlett was invited to join the actual Green Sheets corporate council, and be a voice in creating General Green Sheets Consortium policy, which is going over real well with the general workers because now they feel heard and represented.
Okay. So it's potentially that this may have had a positive impact on the community then?
Generally. Yeah. Except for maybe the people who think that that big corporate is getting a little too big, but we might be even a little early for that sentiment.
Brilliant. So that just leaves what you would like to do. So discover something, conversation, or start a new project.
Yes,
You can see the cogs. You can see the cogs whirling around.
yeah, I mean that's kind of what I've been doing this whole time. Well, since this is all presents for me, like this is Christmas Day for me. So while other people are wrapping their presents and quickly trying to give them to me, or trying to think about what they're going to buy me for presents, I'm over here like, ooh, let me play with this new toy, and then it gets to my turn. I'm like, wait, I gotta give myself presents. That's right. Okay. So. I think we're getting to the tail end here, and I don't want to. I really want to see what my players on Sunday are going to do with the things that have been going on here. I don't know if I want to influence any of them in a particular direction right now. So I think as far as a project, this is actually something that I was planning, actually. So as far as a project, the Hawkwood Company, in collaboration with the rest of the governing council here, has put together plans for 3 different types of system satellites. There are defense satellites, there are surveillance satellites, and there are signal jamming satellites to sort of obfuscate the resources of the system. Unfortunately, because this is a biomass world and not a mining world and whatnot, and because of how these satellites will need to be programmed and work amongst each other, especially in order to get them deployed within a reasonable amount of time, they are mutually exclusive to each other.
Okay.
So our Lancers are going to have to decide whether they want defense satellites, surveillance satellites, or obfuscation satellites. So I would like to begin the actual project of gathering the materials and beginning to build the actual deployable frames for these system satellites.
Excellent. Okay.
And I'm just going to go ahead and say that's a 6-week project. That takes a long time to do.
Yeah. Brilliant. Everybody happy with that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Right then. So, Zach, it's you.
My turn. Ace. Can't seem to get it onto the big screen. Somebody pull that up for me, please.
Oh, you're so needy, Zach.
Thank you. Oh, there's 2 of them now.
Yeah, we both did it.
Okay. I just drew on the map instead of. Okay. Oh. Okay, there we go. Okay. What group has the highest status in the community? What must people do to gain inclusion in the group? Are there distinct family units in the community? If so, what family structures are common? It's a weird one, Jack. For you, this is a weird one.
It's kind of, you know, a lot of this is obviously already established, isn't it, in terms of families
Yeah.
and communities. So if you want to draw again on that,
Let's draw a second time here. There we go. It'll work this time. And I colored
We
on
all
the screen
did.
again. It's because I keep on forgetting to change it to.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's
the most-
Could
Oh,
delete the
Yeah.
original.
Yes, sir.
thank you. What's the most beautiful thing in the area, or what is the most hideous thing in the area? Okay.
Paint me a vista.
I think that it is over on. I'm gonna draw it right over here because it makes sense. Over here on Sony. Here there is a scar basically blown into the ground. Where there was some sort of combat, and it's beautiful to look at from the top, because it has a great visual of the bay. But anybody knows that it also plays as sort of a horrible reminder of what happened to in Prospera Bay during the kind of like changing of government, some sort of weapon attack left over from a battle. Whether they could fill it in or not, they don't, because it's kind of like a permanent reminder of like, look at this thing. I want to say it's like a kilometer across. It's like basically like just a sheer cutoff in the ground. Maybe something exploded. It's kind of been lost to time what exactly happened. Could have been some sort of like plasma-based weapon or an explosion, but there's just a horrible cutoff in the ground where nothing seems to sustainably grow.
okay. Is it accessible? Could
I think from
people
the
actually
people
go,
can go up to it.
Yeah.
Can
they go into it?
I think they can climb to a certain extent. I think that it's like a fall hazard. So like there's like fences, but I imagine it's kind of like the Grand Canyon or Niagara Falls. It's just like there's some like basic protections where they're like, don't go over the fence. The fence is there for your protection. And they probably lose somebody to the scar every couple months to years, but for the most part, it's just kind of like a quiet reminder of what people can do.
Would you say that what kind of feelings does it evoke amongst the common people?
You ever been to the Ground Zero monument for 9/11? Well, it's shockingly quiet. At least when I went there 5 or 6 years ago, the entire city is so busy and loud, and then all of a sudden you're there and it's like devoid of noise, and like there's a silent reverence to what was once there. I think that's the feeling it gives off. At least when you get closer to like the center of it.
Right. Let's have a look at our projects then. So we move the satellite infrastructure on one, but with that, it is Prosper Day.
Prospera Day.
What occurs on this magical day?
It is more or less a success. Tensions are somewhat high, and there has been some workarounds with, I think, I think Hawkwood, they didn't give up completely, but they posted extra guard, and more or less it's like, all right, everybody was supposed to be in at 9, we'll give you till 1. Like, that's kind of like the thing. Like, they recognize that there was some work between the main people who were setting it up. There was some flexibility to it. I think the celebration went really well. And I think for some of the Hawkwood people, they kind of were brought into like not the fold, but like there was, at least for this weekend, a temporary feeling of like acceptance. It got rowdy in places, it always does, but I think that for the most part, there was no major upheavals. Tourism still happened a little bit. But other than that, it just was a solid success, though it did have an air of like slight tension to it, at least to start.
So what was the general mood, say, a couple of days afterwards?
I think people were riding that high. I think they're like, this is what it can be. So there was like, hey, we did it once. Maybe we can do it again. Not enough to fix the unity disparity, but enough to give the common folk a feeling that it's possible.
Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, and then lastly, and this will be our last action of the night. So when we come back next week, it'll be straight into the Eye's turn. But Zach, what is your final move for today's show?
Off in the jungle. This is going to be a starter project, but there's a conversation happening between a woman about 35-ish and the open cockpit of a war machine. Jack, do you mind if I name this NHP? Or do they have a set name? Or do you have an idea? Because I have one I think you might like. Ipos, which in the Book of Goetia, which some of the other NHPs are named after, is the revealer of past, presents, and possible futures. He's looking for a pilot and would like to work with Celeste.
So what is the actual project?
Basic training.
So Celeste, basic training.
Exactly. I think for them both to get the basics 4 weeks, and then for like the basics of basics, like we're having to constrict stuff because I know that Lancers actually train for years and years, but this is for them to get familiar with each other.
Yeah, and with an NHP, actually having a human inside you is kind of redundant anyway.
Yeah, but he's been gone or they've been gone for a long time.
Yeah. Love it.
That really does give it to draw on, doesn't it?
The last thing we see is Celeste climb into the cockpit as it closes up.
And all her supporters surrounding her.
Exactly. The groups of people armed to the nail. They've started to make some sort of settlement.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. Amazing.
I don't know if she's good or bad. I just know that she doesn't trust what's going on in Prospera, so...
Yeah. All right.
Brilliant. That's very, very cool. I love that. And that everyone, that's all we've got time for today. But thank you so much. It's been really great fun. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And just the narrative coming out, it's going to lead to all sorts of interesting things. And you've got a lot of work to do there, Jack, I think.
Gonna be up all night.
I will say a lot of Quiet Year, once you've done it once, it goes a lot faster after, now that we know the cycle and we had our glitches, so we should be able to probably get through summer, fall next week, at least.
Unless Jack keeps telling me no.
Yeah, I vetoed one thing. I vetoed one thing.
2 things.
Look, you can't have your cult. I'm sorry.
You can't have your cult and eat it too.
Why not? What's the point of having a cult if you can't eat
it? That's a t-shirt right there.
You don't know how right you are.
Oh, well, thank you so much, everyone. Should we just go around and just finish off by telling everyone where you can find each other and and what you're currently up to? So, the Eye, let's start with you this time. Let's go in reverse order.
I am the Eye. You find me here and only here, except if you could find me on the once known the artist formerly known as Twitter. You will find me there as the Eye with the E's replaced by 3's because I'm weird like that. Yeah.
Awesome. Zach.
Hey everybody, I'm Zach. You can find me online at Schedule for Launch. Catch me and Jack hopefully next week for Tale of the Void, where I don't remember what we're doing. But I think it is trying to set up shop for stuff. We're clearing something out.
No, you said that.
That's all I really remember.
Panicked, like, wait, did I sign myself up for something next
going on?
Oh, okay,
No,
no.
it's we've been off for a long time just due to life.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll be back to it. But and then obviously here next week, I'll be doing some more stuff in the near future though. So catch me on Threads where I'm going to talk about that all.
What's your?
It's that Schedule for Launch.
Yeah. Cool. And Jack, how about yourself?
Yes. Hello, folks. I'm Jack. I've been given so many beautiful presents tonight, and I'm going to be up all night working them into what I am mostly up to right now, which is the Starcrier conflict. The overarching story in which this planet that we are currently making is a part of. In fact, directly right now, because our Lancers have just landed on this planet. So join us every Sunday at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time for some sci-fi space mecha opera and we will see what our Lancers do with all of these new rumors and developments and vistas and crazy cults and ancient artifacts and whatnot that they are going to need to make a lot of really interesting decisions about.
So good.
Thank you, you two. Thank you, Tal, for facilitating this. This has been a wonderful time, and I have a lot of new toys to play with. So yeah, that's Sunday. As Zach said, you'll see me on Tuesday, probably, possibly, hopefully, over with Veil the Void. Oh, one more thing I do want to make sure to plug this week. Actually, tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow is Friday. I will be over on the Lost Caravan once again. Great group of people over there. They're currently doing their Caravan of Cthulhu week, a week-long charity event for the I forget exactly the name of the charity, but it is Palestine Children's Relief Fund or something like that. Really important. Helping out people who really need it right now. And it's just a week of Cthulhu and other eldritch nonsense and whatnot. Tomorrow at 8 p.m. I will be a player on a Call of Cthulhu game, The Derelict, which is a 1850s English icebreaker that has been lost at sea, lost up in the ice, as they were trying to find the Northwest Passage, and that went about as well as we know it went. So that's going to be fun. That's 8 o'clock tomorrow over at the Lost Caravan, and then Starcraft on Sunday. Come have fun. Come hang out on the socials at RPGs Uncovered. That's what I got.
That charity is the Palestine Children's Relief Fund.
There you go. I was close.
Yeah.
There we go. And I've been Tal. You can find me across the social media under the Gamer's Rest. So I'm doing this. I play games badly. And if you're on this channel, you can probably see that already. I've got a game Sunday morning UK time, probably about 8ish, where we're going to go back into Divinity Original Sin 2 and see how badly we can play at that. That's everything from me at the moment. So thanks to everyone. Thanks to the amazing cast. Thanks to everyone for popping along, and we will see you again next week. Take care of yourselves and those that can't, and do come back again next time. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you soon. Bye.
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 Bye.